Welcome to the Builders Podcast, episode 50, Unified Toolkit update, WordPress theme and plugin development status, income streams, and tips for you. Before we jump into this episode, please subscribe to this podcast, give us a thumbs up or a like, and a share if we've earned it. With your help, we can reach more people and deliver these valuable from the trenches lessons to those that need it. Enjoy the episode. Today is the 50th episode. How exciting is that? It's for me. I didn't know that I would make it for 50 episodes, but here we are. Here's to another 50 or 500 more. It's been an incredible journey. I've probably talked about this off and on and social media and everything, kind of celebrating. I celebrate every episode, to be honest. But we've had so many great guests. I'm super stoked that it is 2022. I'm really looking forward to all the conversations we're going to have. And of course, we're going to have more solo episodes of high caliber, of high quality as this one. Well, I guess you'll be the judge. So, but no, I'm really, really looking forward to this year. And here's another one. Let's do it. The nice thing about the podcast, though, is that, I can do these solo ones. I do have a list of people that I'm going to be getting in contact with and inviting over the coming months and year. Already lined up. I'm talking to somebody at the end of the month, one of the ones I'm most excited about coming in the coming months, because I haven't got any other ones lined up to be excited about. Working on it. His name's Brian, and he runs a very successful digital marketing agency. And I know he's very successful because we have helped each other over the last couple of years, and he's just a really, really great guy and smart guy. I think we have a lot we can extract from him, maybe. Or we'll just talk, we'll just hang out and talk about his origins, how he got to do. I know he's got a really interesting story, so I'm really excited about it. That's all I'll tell you. So starting to line up those folks, and also, somebody on WordPress. I want to get an expert on WordPress in here, so I'm going to be hunting for that person. If you know somebody, or you are one, and would like to talk about specifically Gutenberg full site editing, we're going to be talking a little bit about that today in the context of what we're doing, but a fuller context of I'd like to listen to somebody else's point of view, especially if they've been involved with the project. I think that would be really important. We talk a lot about WordPress here on this podcast because, it's kind of one of my main specialties. WordPress kind of runs 43% of the most popular sites out there on the web. So it's been growing every time it reaches a milestone, like when it reached like 30, 32, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. There's no way we're going to go, beyond that. And now we're at literally at 43%. Like, how does that even happen? Well, where's the competition? Like, the closest competition is like a few percentage points. So at least in the CMS space. But yeah, so we do talk about that and in the context of stuff that I do here. Hope you don't mind. But we will talk about other stuff too, especially as projects develop over the years. And, we're doing Shopify stuff. We're going to be doing other things. I may be getting into Gatsby a little bit. Hope to do some projects in that realm. So with JS frameworks and stuff like that. So there will be other things. But today the context is obviously it's going to be the product that I'm actually in the middle of, or in the beginning stages of, however you look at it, of developing. So I think that'll be fun. So yeah, let's dig into that. So we're going to be talking about Unified Toolkit, which is not a thing yet for the public, but it is something that we in-house have been thinking a lot about for a long time. I've been personally thinking about it for almost 2 years. I first had this idea a couple years ago, but I wasn't positioned at that time to really do much about it. I just let it roll around my head for the last for quite a while, for a year or two. And it really, towards the end of this past year, 2021, it kind of started to gel. And it seemed like the right time, as we really, as a company, as an agency, we really defined our verticals this last year and what we're doing, and got kind of established our processes and who we're focused on and what type of business we're going to get, where our strengths are, ignoring our weaknesses. And within that, though, came this idea. So one of the things that we do is we help other agencies, particularly marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies, advertising agencies. We have a number of relationships with those type of agencies where we help them either build custom themes or have. We help them maintain sites, build small features. Just to give you an example, this week we had one of our longtime agency partners for a couple of years. There's a particular client that we help them with on a consistent, constant basis. It's actually not WordPress. It's on some obscure framework that's out of date, but we still help them with it. And in that case, they wanted a pop-up, a simple pop-up they had something's going on with the business where they're going to be closed for a couple days for renovations or something. And they needed a pop-up to give people that information. And so we did that. So it's like small little things like that over time. In that case, it's a little more big of a deal because it's not something as simple as WordPress. So I have a specialized developer that helps me with that. So I don't do it myself, even, although I can get in there if I need to. But so that type of thing is a thing. And so we work with these agencies. And one of the things that I've learned working with agencies for off and on, different agencies come and go, but the agencies we've been established with for quite some time, and agencies I've talked to, that maybe we haven't done anything yet, maybe someday we will. There's pain points. There's issues, there's challenges, there's a learning curve. If you're an agency that is doing marketing, or maybe you're really good at SEO or advertising or whatever, that's your specialization. But those clients you're getting may also need a website, or you need to help them improve their website. Maybe they got a terrible UX, user experience. They got a terrible CTAs. The conversions are poor and they need updates to their site. Maybe ongoing. Maybe they need a landing page. They need all these things, but maybe they can't or they don't want to do it in-house. Sometimes they can't do it in-house. They don't have the experience or they don't have the funds to hire somebody in-house, so they need a partner instead. They may just decide that they would rather focus, on what their strengths are and get help elsewhere. But, through that process, though, there's in this business, kind of like a lot of businesses. Okay, so I was in construction business for a number of years. I had a small painting repair business, remodeling, Matt's Painting and Repair, and then I had MPR Remodeling. MPR, Matt's Painting and Repair, Remodeling. And in that business, obviously, there's good contractors and there's bad contractors. There's good workers, there's bad workers. I built a team. And I had some really good guys on my team, but I had partnerships. I had a partnership in particular I'm thinking of. A couple I had that went sideways. There's just a lot of people out there that are just poor souls. They're not good people. But we have, but it's the same way with any business. And in this business of web development, web design, that's kind of the same thing happens. I mean, and sometimes it's not sometimes it's cultural. Sometimes it's if you're trying to work with international teams, or there's all kinds of issues that can happen around that. There's not only a learning curve in terms of tech and understanding how to build a website. There's obviously a lot of depth to that. You can spend years just becoming a good web developer full time, right? So for you to do that yourself and try to figure that all out yourself is a challenge. And the way you could get around that challenge a little bit is you could specialize in one thing, figure out a good system to build a particular kind of website, use page builders or site builders that make it easy for you to set things up. But at the same time, that can pose a challenge because what you think you want to set up for a client. I've worked with other agencies or people that had clients that they want to keep things simple, but the clients don't always want to keep things simple. And at the end of the day, they're kind of your boss. And you can say no, but you may want that piece of business, so you're going to have to say yes sometimes. So drinking water today, trying to cut back on coffee, doctor's orders. So there are challenges there, but if you go with, there's a lot of agencies that, and I've gone through it, right? I've had to go through workers, contractors and stuff that were good and bad, but over time, I didn't give up, and I've found some great people to work for me. I got employees, and I also have agency partner. We are in a good place. But one of the things that I also bring to the table is that I have a Scrum background, Agile project management background. I know how to manage teams. I know how to get things done. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good. Been doing on my own as an agency for 3 years. I built teams before that and did well. And so I have some confidence. My successes and things, what I thought I could bring to the table is that because I talk to other agencies and I've worked with agencies and I've had successful partnerships with other agencies and companies, clients too, that I could take those lessons and I could help other agencies, help the agencies that I'm already working with. Because I work with agencies at different levels. Some are just in the beginning stages or learning or have a lot to learn. Others are more advanced or have had experience for years. And so that runs the gamut. But if I can provide my existing clientele better tools, better even things like onboarding forms, tools of the trade that can help them sell better and do better. That's what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, if I give an agency those tools and I can help them sell more, we'll get, obviously it's a win-win because they'll do better, we'll do better. It's a whole thing. But so it's what Unified Toolkit is bringing to the table is, number one, we're building it for ourselves. We're building a theme, a block theme. We're building plugins. And then so that on that side of things, we're going to use it to build custom themes and use those tools and those plugins for our projects in-house, whether it's direct clients or agencies. But then our agencies could use those things. But then we might as well sell those things too, right? So we're kind of building it for ourselves first. And then over time, we'll hopefully help other agencies that we don't even partner with, but they may want to use our tools. And then we're going to give them other resources, other things to help them sell, and courses. I'm going to create some courses. I don't know all the courses we'll create, but things to get them started and learn how to use the tools that we're giving them. And so, like I said, it just seemed like a win-win-win-win-win for everything, right? And I'll get into it's a no-lose situation too. So, but with that framework, so I'm excited to bring it to the public and bring it to my clients and bring it to the market. I think it fits. It's a situation where I think it's going to be unique in that it's something that we built for ourselves, and that's kind of how I'm going to market it, right? We built this thing, we're going to let you use it as well. And even if we're not your partners, we're going to give you tools and things that we use to be successful. And that's kind of our goal as an agency. It's kind of our mission, right? It's to help people succeed in a variety of ways with their websites and by helping their clients, and it's kind of this trickle down effect. We can help other people succeed. That helps their employees because their employees will have work to do and they can provide for their families. It's like this whole thing, right? That's how I think of things. And obviously then I can also, hopefully we create new revenue streams and stuff. We'll get into that too, but there's a lot of reasons to do it. And I think it's a good foundation. And it's something we're going to do in 2022. That's been the goal. So we're finally doing it. So where are we at with that? So I am, and this is kind of how I've structured us developing this, because we are a busy agency already. We have continuous work. It is, things are coming in, projects are being done for multiple clients, multiple agencies. So there's always stuff being done. So we have to figure out how we're going to do it in between that. And make the time. I'm taking on the WordPress theme itself, the block theme. And I'm doing that for a couple reasons, because I like to stay in the code. I like to be able to understand the code and the things we're doing, at least on the WordPress side, not so much on the Shopify side, although I'm learning Shopify, but other things that we do, I may not be as involved in, but WordPress is just one of those things that I want to maintain. From a knowledge perspective, especially developing this project from the ground up, I want to be involved. So the theme itself, the block theme, the full site editing theme that is going to only work after 5.9 is released this month. That is me. And so I'm building it from the ground up. And plus I have that experience. I built the framework that we had at Hexer that we built like 100 themes with. And so, and in that process, I built the boilerplate that built all those. I built the framework. I know the code inside and out. And now I want to do the same with blocks and learn how to do block development and all that stuff. So I'm doing that. It's not going to have Bootstrap. That was a decision I made only this past month. I wasn't sure, but as I dove more and more into it and started actually building it, I realized, now this is going to be plain Jane. We're just going to use CSS. And actually, WordPress kind of has become its own framework in terms of being able to be responsive and all that with blocks and the column blocks they have. And it's kind of become its own framework. So in some aspects, it was redundant. And also the integration of the two was a little tricky. And I thought, well, let's just keep it clean. And that doesn't mean we won't use Bootstrap in some instances, or we still use them for standalone landing pages. We are experts in Bootstrap, but for this project and for future custom themes we'll build, we're probably not going to use Bootstrap. So that's what I'm working on. And then in parallel, I have a dedicated team member that is working on plugins. She's got a dual purpose here at Unified. She's actually a designer as well. So we work. If I need design work, we always need design work. She helps me with that. I do some of that as well. So we actually are kind of in lockstep that way. She's half designer, half coder. I'm kind of the same. So, but she's really good. But I actually helped her. First of all, we had to learn a lot of this stuff. I was helping her learn a lot of this stuff. She's a full stack developer, but there's a lot to learn, in particular around plugin development and block development. So we've kind of gone to school for months to prepare for this. But the development has started. So we're working on a couple plugins. To start out, we're going to have it's kind of a dashboard plugin. It's kind of, if you think about, I think other developers or other plugins companies do this, where they have like a parent plugin, and then there's add-ons or modules for that, or other plugins that are married to that So we have this like main plugin. It's called a dashboard. It's going to serve some purpose. I won't get into all the details at this point, but it's essentially going to have information about other plugins we have, or plugins. If you have a plugin that you install from us that requires WooCommerce, you don't have that installed, there's probably going to be notifications there, but there's also going to be other dashboard things, other data you're going to pull from that. I got a lot of ideas long-term for that. So the first step is just to have a central dashboard with additional information, resources, and linking out to everything. So it's going to show you what you have installed in terms of Unified Toolkit stuff. So Unified Toolkit related things, that dashboard is for. Now you install a Blocks plugin and a Tweaks plugin, which I'm going to have day one. Those two plugins, when they're installed, it'll show that they're enabled, and those two plugins and other plugins will require the dashboard. So if you try to install Blocks plugin, it's not going to install unless you have the dashboard plugin. That's like the daddy plugin, or the mama plugin, the parent plugin has to be installed. So that's happening. But the Blocks plugin is super important. It's going to immediately be useful with the new block theme. So those two together, you'll be able to do, you or whoever, ourselves, will be able to do a lot more with that theme. So the theme is basically a framework where we're going to provide other plugins that can plug in depending on the type of website it is and the needs of that website. So that's happening. That's happening right now. And it's kind of fun because we're in this kind of software development mode. We're even using Jira, Atlassian's Jira, to do the project management. And it's a different thing because there's a lot more communication and goals we're trying to meet, and these little sprints we're doing. So it's fun. I'm back at it. So it'll be built, these are going to be built with our theme in mind, but at the same time, these plugins are going to be built in a way where they can be used with other plugins or other themes. So that's the goal of this, is to have plugins that can be used in a variety of ways. So if we have a theme that uses a different framework or a different page builder, whatever it is, Elementor or Divi or whatever, but you could still use our plugins for some of our blocks. We're going to have block patterns, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be good. So then for Unified Toolkit, we're also going to have content mostly revolving around the courses. I definitely want to have content to help somebody implement these themes and plugins in their business or their websites or their client sites. So we're going to have all of that, but also going to have content around helping agencies or freelancers, again, sell web design services, whether it might be useful for, I might have like a couple different paths. One maybe for a freelancer that wants to do web design and they want to get clients for marketing. I may have that as well, but the biggest one is for us is, as an agency, is to help marketers, the marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies, advertisers that want to want to also provide their clients with web design services, teaching them how to do that. And there's different ways to do that too, right? So sometimes we have more of a private label situation, or we just work behind the scenes, and for all the client knows for that agency that that marketing agency is doing it all for them. Other situations is just referral. Those are really super easy. Someone refers the business to us. We take care of that client, and then we work with that marketing agency. If we still have the communications, but we handle them separately. So that works out good too. So there's different ways to do that. But those are the type of agencies that we will provide solutions for. So that's where we're at. So the content itself, I'm not as worried about that. Obviously, I think the trickiest thing, I can write content all day long. I have written a lot of courses in the past, and so that's kind of all up in my head, and I'll create some, just like I do here with podcasts. I'll just write. And there may be a video component to them too, though. I think probably the courses will include video. But that's something definitely I'm going to have to spend some time on. But hopefully I'm going to have a couple courses, have those ready to go. The at launch. So let's talk about that a little bit. So I think I'm talking about this because I think this would be interesting if you are thinking about doing a product or you have a product. How do other people that sell products think? Everyone's different. I do know people that promote products as affiliates and who've had big launches and all that stuff. I know my limitations. I'm not very good at that. I've never had like this enormous launch where you make millions of dollars day one. I've never had that scenario. Maybe someone will contact me as they learn about this product, and that will be a scenario, but I highly doubt it. I haven't been that lucky. Listen, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. If I haven't figured out how to have these giant launches, I guess I know my limitations. And even though I know a lot of people, even though I know a lot of marketers, this hasn't happened like that. I haven't had these giant launches. But I've had a lot of giant promotions, big promotions. I've done webinars in the past and sold lots of stuff after the fact, not at the launch. The way I do it, and this is just the way I do it, and it's how it's worked for me. And like I said, there probably could be better ways, but certainly I will get the word out. I know those affiliates. Maybe there will be somebody that has a niche. They have a list that makes sense for what I'm doing. Obviously, if somebody services agencies in some way, if they have content that teaches agencies or whatever, this would be perfect for them, right? So that could happen, and I will look for that. But, and I guess that's kind of how you look at it. Like, I'm going to launch this one way or another, and I may launch it with partners, but I will fall back on launching it regardless. Okay, I'm not going to wait 2 years until I have the perfect partner to get this off the ground. We need it now. Our agencies need it now. Let's do it. But how I will do it is, now I do have a small list from Hexeter still. Those I've converted that over. I've rebranded everything to Unified Toolkit. And they all know that, and they're along for the ride because they're interested in WordPress. They must be if they're listening to me, right? But we'll get the word out. Obviously we'll be sending stuff to them. We'll get the word out in other ways through social media. But I kind of do like a pre-launch situation first. And maybe this is what you do. And then at some point during that pre-launch, you find a partner. I'm putting it out there. Somebody will do a pre-launch. So to my list, I know I'll get signups through there. And it's going to be low entry. These are basically kind of beta testers in a way, right? They're going to be the first people through the gates. The product itself will be minimal viable, where we're not going to have everything we dream of in this product day one. We're going to get some really good features in there and get the plugins going, the framework's there, the themes there, some of the content's there. We'll start getting some feedback. So that's going to be the goal with the pre-launch is to, and it could be, we could limit it. Maybe we limit it to 50 people, 100 people, whatever we think. And that gives people incentive too to kind of sign up because it'll never be that price again, right? So you can to get people on board and to start getting that feedback and get the word out and get some buzz going. So, and also another way is to get testimonials. So by bringing people in free or cheap or whatever, you can ask them for testimonials as well. So when you do finally launch it, you'll have those for your sales pages. So Unified Toolkit is not a will this work type of scenario. I'm not doing this project because I'm not going to do it and be like, it didn't work and I'll go on to something else. This isn't that. Because it has such a tight integration with what we're already doing, the worst case scenario is we don't sell any to anybody else, but we just continue to use it for ourselves. So that's a nice way to go into something. It's a little bit no pressure. And kind of like the benefit of me having focused on the agency and building the agency first and then doing a product was that the funds are not front and center. I don't need to sell the product to pay my team or to pay myself or, to continue on. If you're in that kind of situation where you don't have any revenue and this is the end all be all, then you may be a little more stressed about it. But by giving it multiple purposes, it's a good thing. And then if it does become a product that starts getting sales and kind of has a life of its own and actually scales up, we get affiliates somewhere because we're going to have affiliates. We're going to have an affiliate program day one. And if that happens, great. That's a huge bonus. And that's actually ideally, obviously, I would love to have this as another revenue stream because then that takes the pressure off the agency side. So I'm a big fan of multiple streams. I would love to have an affiliate income. For me, it's about that. That's kind of where it's at, right? Having the services, a product stream, an affiliate marketing stream. That's why if you look at my blog and things I do, I'm always sneaking in affiliate links. I belong to a number of affiliate programs. That'll be a thing through my list building. Particularly if I have some product I use that I want to recommend and have a review about, why not? So that is the biggest thing. It's really a no lose, no fail situation. And the most likely outcome is it's not that I don't have faith in myself. I've just been at this for way too long to buy into the hype that I'm going to launch this and, be on a beach next year enjoying all the money. 9 out of probably, we're probably going to lose money the first year. That's a good thing about having the agency. Or if you had a job or you had something that could, that you don't have to worry about it. And that's fine. So, and it's not uncommon. Okay. In the real world, even especially talking offline, a lot of businesses start and they don't make money in their first, second, and third year. It is what it is. And even in tech, there's losses in the first years. You have to be able to absorb that. And that's kind of the position I put myself in, that I know that there's a lot of variables here to actually making that a success in and of itself. But I'm prepared for that. So, and why do I think I'm going to lose money in the first years? Because I'm paying somebody full time to help me develop it. And that would mean I would have to at least break even if I was going to, make any money, make $1. I have to break even to make that $1. But that's probably not going to happen. But I guess it's how you look at it. If I use that framework to build some custom themes, those, for clients, those could pay for it. So, but the product, what I'm talking about is the product itself, on its own, selling stuff. That would take hundreds, not thousands of sales. So, depending on where I price it, it's probably going to be more than $1. But so there's flexibility all built into this, though. It's just I'm not going into it with the need for certain results. And like I said, year one, even year two, we don't make money on it, but it helps us with our agency and building stuff. We use those plugins for other things. Great. It was a good investment for us. If it helps our agency partners, one by one, if we get new agency partners and they can use that, that is the number one thing. Number two thing, the actual selling it on its own. We'll see how that goes. So why this project? I thought that would be a good question to ask. Why this project? And because I could just continue to do services, I could continue to just focus on web design and development, client by client, doing that type of thing, maybe doing content, maybe just doing affiliate marketing. And like I said, it kind of circling back to this again is we build custom themes. This is what we do, and we're going to use it ourselves. But the thing about building our own stuff, now see, the other thing we could do is we could go out and choose a third-party situation. There's other frameworks out there for WordPress. There's other plugins. There's other themes. There's other stuff out there. We could choose a theme or a page builder and just use that. Why don't we do that? Why don't I want to do that? Well, number one, I like building things from scratch. I like the challenge. But but I can do it then to the specs that we want. We can build only what we need. We don't need the bloat. We don't need, if we have a particular types of clients we're getting or using it in different specific ways we want to build a site, we're not reliant on a third party to deliver that or have to ignore 90 things that they offer that we don't need. So we just build the things we need in-house, and it can speed things up, make things cleaner, faster, more efficient. If you rely on third parties, you got to rely on them staying in business first. Hopefully you choose one that has good support, but you got to rely on them to develop it in a certain way. Let's say we had a particular theme that we use for all our clients, and they decide, well, we're going to just hold off on developing the blocks. We're just going to stick with classic editor, or their development path to the conversion takes years, and maybe they do it well, maybe they don't. Now we could go to a different theme then, or whatever, but by having it all in-house, we're able to kind of follow our own methodologies and do the things we think are important and prioritize the things that we think are important. That's why I prioritize building the block theme, the full site editing theme. Because for me, as an agency, our identity, I want us to be pushing, the innovation, to be kind of, as WordPress is pushing the limits or other technologies, I want to be here. I don't want to stay back here because it's too hard, So that's a good thing. And then the flexibility of having our own themes are great too. We may have a certain way we want to build headers, for example, that top of the site with the menu and the logo. Our framework is going to provide different template parts where you can have a header with the logo to the left. Then we can have another one with the logo in the middle. We're using the block menus, so you can move that stuff around even. You can even customize it further. See, we'll have episodes on the block editor, the new site editor. But one of the beautiful things about blocks that I love personally, this is just me, but it's being able to provide a theme or have a theme boilerplate like we're building, installing it, having default layouts, default things in there, but you or anybody else being able to go in there, well, I liked that, but I can move this around and save it, and that's my new template. Because it's blocks. So if you wanted to change something about a layout that we provide out of the box, you can and save it and have that forever. So you can literally modify how that header looks if you want, and even export it. And that's what you use going forward. It's wild stuff. So those are some of the reasons we want to do that. Obviously one of our primary verticals is agencies. So being able to include a consistent framework for them, that's going to be the benefit for them, is to have use of our framework. We'll be providing the other tools and resources. I mean, it all just makes sense. I love having products. I've had pretty much a majority of the time I've been online, most of the time I've been online, I've had my own products. I had products back in the 2000s, informational products, memberships, and I did sell scripts. I had a white label when exit pop-ups first became a thing. They haven't always been a thing. There's a lot of things today that haven't always been a thing. And to age myself, I was here when a lot of those things were first created. So exit pop-ups became a thing, right? And I bought the resale rights, private label rights for a script, and I sold that. And I sold a lot of them. That's actually a story in of itself. But even back in those days, that was probably like, I don't know when it was, 2005, 6, maybe 7. And I had a list, and I sold it to my list, and I just sold it in general. I might have had an affiliate program, I don't remember. But it also got picked up because exit pop-ups were a hot thing at the time. There was other marketers that had larger lists and had other products, and they would recommend my exit pop-up. I remember one time looking at my stats. I'm like, where are all these sales coming from? I don't even think I was selling it for that much, maybe $27 or something. But I was getting tons. I got like hundreds of sales from some marketer, and I couldn't even figure out where it was originating because he was linking to it from his protected members area. So I knew it was coming from him. I knew who he was. And I think I reached out to him. I don't know what all happened, but that's a long time ago. Whew. But I've loved that. I love having products. I love selling products. I love having affiliates. I've had tons of affiliate programs over the years. It's something I love. So for me to decide to have products was pretty much a foregone conclusion, no-brainer situation, even though I sell services. And it's another revenue stream. And it's a reoccurring revenue stream. So it will be reoccurring. It'll be at least annual, maybe semi-annual, quarterly, monthly options. But having that reoccurring, that creates a base. And I can tell you that that's awesome because I had memberships in the past where we had thousands of dollars worth of revenue coming in per month. And as long as you continue to deliver on your promises and give them awesome content, awesome products, whatever you're doing for them, they're going to stick around. There's going to be some churn. That's why you have to continue to market it. But having that as a baseline revenue stream, and that's something that's very consistent, is important. It's also important in the context. I was just talking to a friend about this who's made millions of dollars selling WordPress plugins. And one of the things he said was, make sure that that it's not a one-time, that it's annual, that's some kind of reoccurring. Because what happened with them, it's kind of a little tip for you. What happened with them is that support became a nightmare. And long-term, they kind of lost, I think they probably lost, I don't know the details, but he's pretty adamant about it. But it's hard to support something long term if you don't have continuous revenue coming in. So if you have a plugin, you sell it, and it's really hot at first, and then it dies out, which a lot of products do, especially with those large launches. I've known a lot of marketers who've had large launches. Then they got to figure out what happens in month 2 or 3 because that's where all their sales came from. It's part of the reason I really don't worry too much about big launches like that because, yeah, it would be nice to have that huge revenue spike in the beginning. But what happens is that, it's like, and then all of a sudden, and then, so I guess that won't translate as well to audio. Sorry, guys. I was doing a up and then down and then a flat line. I remember specifically one marketer years ago where he did that. He launched an ebook and the ebook sales were amazing for a couple months and then it dried up. He's like, and he asked like, Matt, what am I going to do? I said, look what I did. Start a membership. And he's running that membership to this day. I think he's not regretful there. Whether he gives me credit or not, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so, and again, it just all blends well with our current model, our agency, being able to use that. It's just a lot of good reasons to do this. And at the end of the day, I'm a builder. That's why I got the Builders Podcast, right? I'm a builder. And that's why I worked for Rapid Crush for a while, because the founder that I know, Will, he knew I'm a builder. I like to build stuff. It's like, you just come work for us and build stuff for us. Okay. So a couple of things to end on here, kind of for you, if you're thinking about or getting started working on your own projects. You're thinking about it, or you're in the middle of it, or maybe you have one. The big thing here is you can't wait for everything to be perfect. That's not why I waited 2 years. I was focused on the agency. I wanted to build that first. And in that time, though, I was thinking about it. Now, not everything's perfect. Not everything's perfect to do this, but it was time. And you got to decide what your time is and what those variables are that have to be in place for you to do it, pull the trigger. But just start. Just get started. Even if it's small. Like, again, I am not building all the features all at once. I have a lot of ideas for this. We're going to build something enough where it can give people some value and they can start seeing what we're doing and start getting some feedback, getting testimonials, getting all the user data and stuff. That's really valuable. But we don't need to have the whole thing built before that, right? And then in the way it's structured anyway, we're going to always be developing it, because as an agency, we'll do new projects, need new things, find better ways to do things. That's all going to be built into this. So it's not going to happen overnight, for all of this, even when I decided I was going to do it, it took time for things to fall into place. The ideas had to be there. That really only gelled for me this past fall. The timing has to be right. I had to wait for full site editing to come if I was going to do a full site editing theme for this. That was part of the reason I was also delaying, and that got delayed till January. So this month, 5.9 comes out with these features. So I can't even if I had the theme done, you wouldn't be able to use it unless you installed the Gutenberg plugin. But and you have to have the right team. I couldn't do this if I was just doing everything myself, all the service, all the client work, all that stuff. I probably wouldn't have much time, or I'd have to burn the midnight oil daily and weekends. And I could do that more when I was young. I can't do it as much. When I first started doing internet marketing online, I remember I would get a couple hours of sleep. I'd be up until 3, 4 in the morning to launch a promotion. I did that back in the day. I don't do that anymore. That hurts too much. I enjoy my sleep. I've earned it. I've been to war. So maybe I'm more laid back than the average, so maybe I'm not a good person to listen to in that regard. So I'm not going to tell you to hurt yourself. But you just break it down. You got to create a roadmap for this, release it in stages. You don't have to release a product all at once. Start small and leverage that to build more and more things. That's kind of what I did with the agency, right? So I built the agency first. I'm leveraging that to do the products. I'll leverage that to maybe do other things in the future. Who knows what we'll all end up doing in the next decade or two. And you can start loud. You can try to hunt for a partner. Build those. Some of that's building relationships and finding those people. There's people out there that do that stuff. That there's affiliates out there that's all they do. So if you can find that right person for what that particular product you're doing, maybe that works. It has to be something. In those cases, it has to be something really special. Have a really unique selling position. That's another whole can of worms to get into, but it can't be just another block plugin. In other words, it has to be something really special. And I'm not even sure that mine is really super special, but I'm also not just doing a block plugin. That's why I'm doing more stuff to make it more special, hopefully. And let's say you can do that. You can get partners. You can do all that stuff. But you can also do it a slow release and start getting feedback. And there's plenty of, I talk to other product owners, even a couple that have been on this podcast as guests, where it wasn't an overnight success. They had to really do groundwork. They had to do networking. They had to really work hard in the first beginning years to, go back and listen to some of our podcasts. Who am I going to let me bring them up here. I'll tell you in a second. Who should you go listen to? And I should know these names right off the top of my head. Well, I know Vova. Steven and Vova probably are the two. I'm just going to try to think if there's anybody else that, if you go to my guest bios and look for Vova Feldman. Now he started Freemius, and he just celebrated on Twitter. He has over 900 people in his Slack community, which I belong to as well. But he's a great one that has that story of it took years. Who else? Bear with me. Steven. I said that right. Steven Wilson Downey. So he's another one. Stephen. He was on our 30th episode. But, so those guys, both of them have, Steven's working on an AI project plugin related to maintenance. And it's taken him years. And he's out there. He's doing stuff. He's on social media. That's how we connected. He presented it to me on LinkedIn. And then we got on a call, and he ended up being a podcast guest. I'm testing his software. I need to actually follow up with that guy, though. I think he's updated it. I don't think I got a copy of that update. Talk to him. But yeah, so it may not happen overnight. It may take a lot of work. But if you got something you really believe in, I really believe in what we're doing. Like it says, no-lose situation. At the same time, I think it could add a lot of value and be very useful to other freelancers and agencies if I build it right. So, and lastly, two last thoughts. You have to see the market. The whole time you listen to me talking right now, it should be obvious I see the market. Obviously, the market is our own clients and future agencies we work with. That's number one. And then other freelancers and agencies and my list. There's a market there because it's going to be kind of built for freelancers and agencies, but there's also businesses themselves or individuals could also use these plugins in a theme. So I'm hoping to build it in a way that's easy enough to use that anyone could use it. But you have to identify who your primary market is. And the primary market is going to be freelancers, agencies. But you got to be able to see it. You got to be able to identify it. And if you can't do that, you're going to have to do some research. You have to figure that out. Or maybe you do need a partner. In those cases, you definitely, could benefit from a partner or affiliate, a relationship, or something. Or maybe you build a list first. Create an informational product or something. Build a list first. Build a name capture. And then sell your product down the road. Create a product. There's a lot of ways, a lot of paths you can do it. The last thing is just to be brave. You just got to do it. Even if you don't feel like you're qualified, maybe you have confidence issues, like most of us do on some level, right? You have to just put one foot in front of the other. Try not to think about it. Just focus on if it's make it a passion project, and you don't have to worry about it. Maybe that's why I like to do it that way. I don't like to stress about stuff. And my doctor, I think would be happy with that because I can't be stressing about stuff. Got to keep it calm. All right. Well, hopefully you found this rambling episode interesting. I like to take you guys on the journey. And that's why I like to do these solo episodes too, because I can talk about what I'm doing. Because I'm not just a podcaster that's just doing podcasting. I'm a podcaster that's out there in the trenches building a business. And I built an agency. This past year, we had a lot of great growth. Now I'm going to be building products. I'd love to be able to share that with you because it is about building stuff. And that is what we talk about here on The Builders. Till next time. That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already and give us a thumbs up if we deserve it. If you want to comment on this podcast or provide me with requests on topics for future episodes, please find your way to thebuilders.fm. You can contact me there or add a comment under these show notes. Now a word from our sponsor, Unified Web Design. That's my agency. We build custom websites, features, we maintain websites, we work with agencies to fulfill their web design and development needs, and more. If you're interested in our services or looking for an agency to work with as a partner to build awesome sites for your clients, feel free to reach out to me at unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a handy contact me link at the top. Fill out that form and it will open a ticket, and that ticket will find its way to me. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.